This is Buckingham Palace, home of the British royal family. When we talk about nobility in Great Britain, we find many rules that apply for the royals, but also for us ordinary people when we meet them. To talk about these rules, we need so-called modal verbs. What are modal verbs? They are auxiliary verbs that modify the meaning of a main verb. We use them, for example, to express abilities, permissions, suggestions, and obligations, prohibitions, and more. They can also often help to communicate more politely. But we're going to talk more about meaning in a minute. I'm sure you already know a few modal verbs, such as can, must, or should. These verbs are a little bit different from other verbs. First, because they are auxiliary verbs. They don't usually stand alone. They accompany the infinitive form of a main verb, like you can visit the gardens of Buckingham Palace on a limited number of open days. Please note that the infinitive of the main verb is used without to. Second, most modal verbs don't change form and don't get a S with he, she, or it. If you're lucky, you might catch a glimpse of the king. He might wave back at you, or even shake your hand. Just in case, you always wait for the king to offer you a handshake first. And the perfect royal handshake consists of 2 or 3 shakes, not more. But now, let's talk about meaning. Modal verbs don't really change the essence of the main verb, but they add a particular meaning. For example, when royals travel, they have black clothes in their luggage is a different statement than they must have black clothes in their luggage in case a member of the royal family dies suddenly. Now, what are these meanings that can be conveyed through modal verbs? First, you can use modal verbs to express that something is possible. For this, we use the modal verbs can, could, may, and might. If you're at Buckingham Palace, you can take a tour and see some of the 775 rooms. Could is the past tense of can and is often used for polite questions like, could you take a picture of me, please? Modal verbs can also add the aspect of permission to the main verb. For this, we use a may or can. A princess may wear a precious tiara only after she is married. To give an advice or make a suggestion, we can use the modal verb should. When you're at the palace, you should watch the changing of the guard. There is one modal verb to express that something is necessary or obligatory, must. To take part in a guided tour of the palace, you must book your ticket in advance. And finally, we can express a probability or certainty with the modal verb must. If the royal flag is flying on the palace roof, the king must be at home. It's true. The so-called royal standard means that the king is in residence, that is, at home. The Union Jack, on the other hand, indicates that he is out of the house. So if you're there, watch out for the flag. When we want to put a modal verb into the past tense, there is something we must pay attention to. Some modal verbs don't even have a past form. For example, must. Others do have one, but the past form has taken on a meaning of its own, as in the case with can or could. So what do we do when we want to talk about the past? We switch to substitutes. These are alternative expressions that can be put into the past tense. For can, we have the substitute be able to. I wasn't able to see the king from where I was standing. Must can be substituted with have to or need to. Before entering the palace, we had to go through security checks. And for may, there is the substitute be allowed to. Before 1993, tourists weren't allowed to enter the palace at all. By the way, these substitutes are not limited to the past tenses. They can be used in every tense, for example, future tenses. When you meet a royal highness, you will have to curtsy or take a bow. And there are two more things that you have to know about modal verbs. Their use in negations and in questions. To negate a modal verb, we just put the word not behind it. I cannot see the palace guards from here. Can is a bit of a peculiar case because it fuses with not to form one word, cannot. But it can also be shortened to can't or can't. And beware, there is another odd one out. Must, in its normal form, is about what you are required to do. However, when negated, the meaning changes. It's no longer about what's not necessary, but about what's not allowed. You must not take photos within the palace, because it is forbidden. If you want to express that you are free to do or not to do something, you can use the substitutes have to or need to. You don't have to wear formal clothing when you visit Buckingham Palace, but you may, if you like. To form questions, modal verbs are put at the beginning of the sentence. May I take a picture of the guards? Sure. Let's recap. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that can't stand alone. They go together with the main verb in the infinitive. They express a variety of meanings such as possibilities, necessities, permissions, or suggestions. The most common modal verbs are can, could, must, may, might, and should. To put them into the past tense, we switch to substitutes, that is, alternative expressions that we can use as a workaround like be able to, have to, or be allowed to. So enough rules for today. Do you still have questions? Write us a comment below and check out the extra material.